The movie opens with a woman wandering down the desolate streets, clutching her infant tightly against her chest. Her steps led her to the doorstep of a small, modest orphanage. With a mix of hesitation and sorrow, she placed a delicate necklace and a handwritten letter beside her baby, leaving the child in front of the orphanage before vanishing into the shadows.
I love you.
12 years later, we meet Peter, a spirited boy of 12. He's been in this chaotic and overcrowded boys' orphanage since he was an infant, left there without any indication of who his parents might have been. The orphanage is run by strict nuns who, as far as Peter is concerned, make the dreary home even drearier. For Peter, the other orphans are his family, but living under the strict rule of the nuns has engendered a rebellious streak in him.
We always have bacon rind for the weekend.
Mischievous, Peter often plays pranks on the nuns, finding it funny to frustrate them. He is particularly contemptuous of the head nun, whom he holds responsible for the wretched state of the orphanage. To Peter, she embodies cruelty, and he blames her for the misery of all the children. One evening at a meal in the crowded dining hall, Peter shares his thoughts with Nibs, his best friend. They are whispering conspiratorially about the head nun of the orphanage, trading stories about her cruelty. Their conversation grows darker as they notice that there seems to be some kind of pattern. Orphans disappear from the home without explanation. Peter suspects that the head nun is responsible and is sure she harbors dark secrets. He even goes to the extent of theorizing that she saves the best food for herself and her staff, leaving the children with nothing. During a chaotic air raid, the blaring sirens force the orphanage into evacuation. The nuns hurriedly shepherd the children to a nearby safe house for protection. However, Peter and his closest friend, Nibs, decide to stay behind, defying orders and embracing their curiosity. While the others take cover, the two boys seize the opportunity to investigate the head nun's office, certain that their suspicions about her hoarding supplies are true. Slipping quietly into the nun's office, Peter and Nibs begin to rummage through the room, their hearts pounding with the thrill of their rebellious adventure. Unbeknownst to them, the head nun, ever wary of Peter's antics, soon notices his absence and instinctively knows he's up to no good. As Peter scans the room, his attention is drawn to a statue of Mary. Unable to resist his mischievous nature, he begins to fiddle with it, treating it like a toy. To his surprise and Nib's shock, a hidden mechanism is triggered. A section of the floor suddenly opens when Peter suddenly rotates Mary's nose, revealing a trapdoor beneath the statue. Before they can react, Nibs loses his footing and tumbles into the dark space below. Clambering down after him, Peter discovers what they had both suspected all along: a secret storage room filled with food and supplies. The room is overflowing with hidden provisions, confirming their theory that the head nun has been stashing away resources while the orphans suffer in hunger. The discovery both validates their suspicions and fuels Peter's anger toward the nun's hypocrisy and cruelty. As Peter and Nibs delve deeper into the hidden room, they stumble upon a trove of documents, letters, records, and lists of orphans who have passed through the orphanage. Sorting through the dusty papers, they uncover something chilling, evidence that 34 orphans have mysteriously gone missing over the years. Among the records, Nibs finds one that shocks them both. It's a file about Peter. Within the file is a letter written by Peter's mother. Peter, unable to read, gives the letter to his friend Nibs to read it for him. The letter speaks of deep love and hope, with his mother expressing how special Peter is and how much he means to her. Nibs, noticing Peter's silence, gently points out the profound love in the words, further driving home the emotional weight of the discovery.
My dearest Peter,
Before they can fully process the letter, the sound of gunshots and explosions echoes through the orphanage, jarring them back to reality. Their brief moment of connection is shattered as the head nun storms into the secret room, her face contorted with fury. She wastes no time in unleashing a tirade of insults at Peter, calling him worthless and dismissing his mother's words as meaningless. With venom in her voice, she asserts that Peter is not special and that no no one has ever cared about him. As punishment for their defiance, the head nun assigns Peter and Nibs grueling chores designed to humiliate and exhaust them. The discovery of the hidden room and the letter, though powerful, is quickly overshadowed by the immediate consequences of their daring escapade. Peter and Nibs, now piecing together the grim puzzle, become convinced that the head nun is selling the orphans for her own gain, which explains her secret stash of food and supplies. Every disappearance, they realize, happens under the cover of darkness. The grim realization weighs heavily on Peter, who fears it's only a matter of time before they too are taken. As night falls, the head nun climbs onto the orphanage roof and hoists a massive pirate flag into the sky. Moments later, the tranquility of the night is shattered as pirates, armed and merciless, descend upon the orphanage like a plague. The chaos is swift and brutal. Children are snatched from their beds, their screams filling the air as the ruthless intruders show no mercy. In the chaos, Nibs is grabbed by a towering pirate. He thrashes and yells, his voice filled with desperation as he's lifted off the ground. Peter, overwhelmed by the mayhem, dives to the floor and hides beneath a row of beds, holding his breath as heavy boots stomp across the wooden floor above him. He watches in horror as the pirates ransack the room, their shadows looming large in the flickering lantern light. Spotting an opportunity, Peter spies the exit and makes a break for it, his heart pounding as he sprints toward freedom. But just as he reaches the doorway, the head nun steps out of the shadows, her expression cold and calculating. Without hesitation, she strikes Peter, sending him reeling into the waiting hands of a pirate. Disoriented and powerless, Peter is dragged into the darkness, his escape attempt thwarted by the very person he despises most. Peter and Nibs find themselves aboard a massive, otherworldly flying ship crammed with the kidnapped orphans and commanded by the ruthless pirate crew. The vessel hovers ominously near the orphanage roof, still within sight. Summoning a burst of courage, Nibs leaps from the ship back onto the roof, determined to escape. Peter, however, paralyzed by his fear of heights, is unable to follow. Helpless, he watches as the ship rises, taking him farther from his friend. Meanwhile, the skies above London are aflame with chaos, with a warplane launching an assault on the city. Amid the turmoil, fighter jets catch sight of the impossible, a colossal flying pirate ship cutting through the clouds. They attempt to engage, firing at the mysterious vessel, but its speed and agility defy their efforts. The ship ascends higher and higher until it breaches the boundaries of reality itself, vanishing from the earthly dimension. As the ship soars beyond comprehension, it enters a vast, surreal expanse where gravity ceases to exist. Peter and the others float weightlessly alongside the pirate crew, their surroundings shifting into a breathtaking new world. They arrive in a dimension that defies logic, dominated by an enchanting, magical island called Neverland. Peter's eyes widen as he takes in the bizarre sights: oceans suspended in midair, fantastical creatures roaming freely, and a menacing alligator that sends shivers down his spine. The ship eventually docks at a massive mining prison built into the heart of this strange island. Peter is thrust into a grim reality, surrounded by countless other boys who, like him, have been stolen away over the years. These captives labor endlessly, mining the shimmering, otherworldly substance known as fairy dust. The arrival of new prisoners sparks a muted celebration among the workers, their spirits briefly lifted by the prospect of new faces. Peter and the orphans are introduced to the notorious Blackbeard, a towering and fearsome figure whose presence commands absolute terror. Blackbeard, the ruthless mastermind behind the entire operation, stands before the new arrivals, his menacing presence sucking the air. His reputation as the most fearsome pirate is well earned, and the nervous silence among the workers is palpable. With a chilling grin, he welcomes the fresh captives to his mining camp, but his erratic demeanor makes it clear he is anything but sane. Blackbeard begins by laying down the law. In a booming voice, he declares that hard work will be rewarded, while failure will be met with harsh punishment.
Don't forget to help yourselves.
His tone leaves no room for doubt. This is a place where survival hinges on obedience. Peter is thrown into the grueling routine immediately. By the end of the day, he's already covered in dirt and sweat, his arms aching from the back-breaking labor. The mines are teeming with children of all ages and backgrounds, each one toiling under the watchful eyes of the pirates. Despite the harsh conditions, Peter's curiosity remains unshaken. This strange, magical world fascinates him, and he's eager to learn more about its mysteries. During a rare moment of respite, Peter strikes up a conversation with one of the pirates. The pirate scoffs at Peter's disbelief, but humors him, confirming the existence of magical beings like fairies. The revelation only deepens Peter's sense of wonder and confusion about this new world. Later, Peter encounters an older miner, whose hardened expression and blunt demeanor reveal a man resigned to his fate.
You asked too many questions, kid.
The miner is cold and dismissive, advising Peter to stop asking questions and focus on surviving. Though the older man's words are harsh, Peter senses a glimmer of hidden wisdom beneath the gruff exterior. As the day drags on, Peter finds himself spending more time near the gruff, aloof miner. Despite the man's initial coldness, Peter's curiosity gets the better of him, and he peppers the older worker with questions. However, his attempts at conversation yield little information, as the miner answers in vague, dismissive grunts, clearly uninterested in indulging Peter's inquisitiveness. At one point, the miner grudgingly sharpens Peter's pickaxe, offering a rare glimpse of kindness amidst his otherwise prickly demeanor. During this brief interaction, the man reveals that he's been toiling in the mines for an excruciating 14 years. The weight of his words hangs heavy in the air, a stark reminder of the harsh reality of their situation. Before Peter can ask anything further, the miner abruptly shuts down the conversation, making it clear he has no intention of forming any bond and telling Peter to leave him alone. Peter takes the hint and returns to his work, though his mind continues to race with questions about the miner and the strange world they're trapped in. Hours pass, the relentless labor pushing Peter to his limits. But then, as his pickaxe strikes the rock wall, he uncovers something extraordinary, a glittering vein of fairy dust. The shimmering substance catches the light, and Peter's exhaustion is momentarily forgotten. Pride swells in his chest as he marvels at his discovery. As Peter admires his hard-earned discovery, another miner approaches, snatching the fairy dust rock from his hands. The newcomer arrogantly claims credit for finding it, boasting loudly for all to hear. Peter, unwilling to let the injustice slide, confronts the miner. A heated argument ensues, quickly escalating into a physical fight. Their scuffle draws attention, and Peter is subdued by the pirate guards, who waste no time in dragging him off with the other accused workers, all awaiting punishment.
Fairy dust.
Meanwhile, Blackbeard is in a private meeting with one of his assistants. His rage is palpable as he discusses the persistent attacks on his ships by the fierce natives of Neverland. Their resistance has gone on for far too long, frustrating his plans to conquer their land and secure its resources. Adding to his fury, Blackbeard is acutely aware of the dwindling supply of fairy dust in the mines, which only heightens his urgency to eliminate the natives and expand his control. With his patience at its limit, Blackbeard steps outside to deal with the misbehaving orphans. A grim ritual unfolds as the children are marched onto a high-flying ship where a plank looms ominously above the endless void. Blackbeard's ruthlessness is on full display, his cold gaze scanning the terrified faces of the young prisoners. He demands that the remaining miners decide the fate of Peter and the other condemned children, forcing them to vote on whether the accused should face the ultimate punishment. Peter stands among the accused, defiant but visibly shaken as the twisted spectacle plays out before him. The decision now rests in the hands of those who share his plight, leaving his fate hanging by a thread.
Shall you have mercy for the willful child?
As Blackbeard looms over the gathered miners, his cruel demand echoes through the air, a vote to decide the fate of the accused. Under the weight of fear and desperation, the miners unanimously condemn Peter and the others. miners, their survival instincts overriding any sense of solidarity. Satisfied, Blackbeard proceeds to enforce the grim sentence, kicking the children off the plank. When it's Peter's turn, he stands before the pirate leader, still insisting on his innocence. His voice trembles with a mix of desperation and determination, but Blackbeard remains unmoved. With a sneer, the pirate dismisses Peter's words and shoves him off the plank into the abyss. Peter plummets into the void, his heart pounding with terror. But as the wind rushes past him, something extraordinary happens. His descent slows, and instead of falling, Peter begins to float. Suspended in the air, he realizes with awe that he is flying. Gasps of astonishment ripple through the crowd of miners as they witness the impossible. Blackbeard himself freezes, his cruel demeanor momentarily replaced by stunned disbelief. The miners and pirates alike can only watch in shock as Peter hovers above them, a living contradiction to the cruelty and despair of Blackbeard's world. Peter's exhilaration is short-lived. Just as he begins to revel in his newfound ability, the mysterious power fades and he plummets from the sky. When Peter regains awareness, he finds himself lying on an ornate bed in Blackbeard's private quarters aboard the ship. The room is lavishly decorated, a stark contrast to the grim reality of the mines. Moments later, Blackbeard enters, his demeanor shockingly different. Gone is the ruthless tyrant. In his place is a composed and almost gentle figure.
A dreadful nightmare you know is not real, but
Blackbeard begins to address Peter, his voice carrying an air of patience. He offers Peter a piece of chocolate, a gesture meant to establish trust. Though suspicious, Peter accepts the treat, watching Blackbeard closely. As the conversation unfolds, Blackbeard reveals that Peter is far more important than he could have imagined. He explains an ancient prophecy tied to the Fairy Kingdom, once the dominant power in Neverland, before Blackbeard and his pirates seized control. According to the legend, a boy from Neverland would one day vanish from the magical realm, only to return when he was old enough to fulfill his destiny. This boy, the prophecy foretold, would lead a revolution to overthrow the tyrannical reign of Blackbeard and his men. Blackbeard speaks of Peter's ability to fly, connecting it directly to the prophecy. He reveals his belief that Peter is the chosen one, the boy destined to rally the oppressed and reclaim Neverland's freedom.
fairy kingdoms reigned on this island.
While Blackbeard's tone is measured, there is a calculated edge to his words, as if he is weighing how to manipulate the situation to his advantage. Peter listens intently, the weight of Blackbeard's revelation leaving him unsure whether to feel fear, pride, or determination. Peter listens to Blackbeard's story with a mix of disbelief and skepticism. The tale of ancient prophecies and destined revolutions feels far too grand for someone like him. With a shake of his head, Peter tells Blackbeard plainly that he has no intention of leading any uprising. He insists he doesn't want to cause trouble and would rather stay out of anything that could disrupt the pirates' rule. For a brief moment, it seems as if Blackbeard accepts Peter's words, but the pirate's calculated nature resurfaces, and he decides to be on the side of caution. Peter is swiftly escorted to a grim prison cell where he is locked away under heavy guard.
You'll help me find my mother.
Meanwhile, the miner Peter had met earlier, now observing these events with growing interest, sees an opportunity. He deduces that Peter might be his key to escaping the oppressive grip of Blackbeard. Under the cover of darkness, the miner orchestrates a bold rescue, using explosives to breach the prison walls. The cell shatters and Peter stumbles out, bewildered but grateful. The miner, however, sets a condition for Peter's newfound freedom. He must help him escape in return. Introducing himself as James Hook, the miner explains his true intentions. He is not merely a gruff laborer, but an orphan, just like Peter, yearning for freedom from Blackbeard's tyranny. Hook insists he's on the side of good, despite his hardened exterior, and all he wants is a chance at a life beyond the cursed mines. Reluctantly agreeing, Peter joins forces with Hook. The pair stages a daring escape, navigating the labyrinthine corridors of the pirate stronghold. Along the way, they enlist the help of another miner, miner, a shifty but resourceful man named Mr. Smee. Together, the unlikely trio works against the odds.
Please don't call me Smee.
Smee! Can you...
The trio's daring escape leads them to an extraordinary find, an ancient pirate ship hidden away, its name etched on the side, the Jolly Roger. Climbing aboard, Peter, Hook, and Smee manage to get the ship airborne, narrowly fleeing the clutches of Blackbeard and his pirate slavers. The wind rushes past them as they soar through the skies, leaving the chaos of the mines behind. Blackbeard was told about the escape, which angered him. He gave command for them to be found before they went far. Their newfound freedom comes with a new mission, seeking out the fabled tribe of Neverland's natives. Peter hopes they can provide guidance or perhaps even an alliance to resist Blackbeard. Peter, now with the knowledge that he is the chosen one, wants to find his mother's people. Hook didn't want to go, but Peter was determined to. Later that night, as they were gathered by a fire, a feather came floating only to change to a big bird. The trio fled the area, but the birds pursued them. They ran to escape, and as they lay on the ground, the natives arrived. They were now in their territory. However, upon arriving in the natives' territory, their hope is quickly dashed. The tribe, mistrustful of outsiders, captures Peter and his companions, dragging them to their leader, a formidable woman named Tiger Lily. Tiger Lily's commanding presence sets the tone as the tribe decides the fate of their captives. They propose a trial by combat to determine if these intruders are worthy. Hook is thrust into the challenge, forced to face Pan, the tribe's legendary warrior. Pan's reputation as their greatest fighter proves well-earned as the duel unfolds. Hook struggles to hold his own, barely surviving the brutal contest, his life spared only by sheer determination and luck. The dynamic shifts when the tribe notices something extraordinary about Peter. He ran to save Hook, seeing him lose the fight, and they witness him briefly take flight, and their attention is drawn to a peculiar necklace he wears, an artifact he's had since infancy, given to him by his mother. The natives recognized it immediately, and everyone bowed. They reveal the true significance of the necklace. It is known as the Pan, a sacred symbol tied to an ancient prophecy. During a war with the pirates, a fairy prince and a woman from Blackbeard's ship fall in love. When Blackbeard found this out, he was enraged. To save the woman, the fairy prince took a human form, but he could only live one night in a human form. He sacrificed himself for the woman he loved, and Peter is the product of that love.
In human flesh, they can live only one day.
The discovery shocks Peter, who begins to realize that his connection to Neverland is far deeper than he ever imagined. The tribe, now aware of Peter's potential importance, looks to him with a mix of reverence and expectation, setting the stage for his transformation into the figure foretold to challenge Blackbeard's reign. The natives grant Peter 3 days to train and prove himself worthy of their trust. His challenge is daunting. To fully master the ability of flight or face the ultimate penalty, his life, with the weight of the prophecy looming over him, Peter throws himself into rigorous training, guided by Tiger Lily and the tribe's warriors. Though his progress is slow, Peter begins to connect with the natives, gaining a deeper understanding of their culture and their struggle against Blackbeard.
Spill the beans or I'll spill your blood.
Later that night, disaster struck. Blackbeard and his pirates arrived at the land and asked Mr. Smee the direction of the camp. The next morning, they finally found it, and a pirate attack descends upon the camp, catching the tribe off guard. Cannons roar and swords clash as Blackbeard's forces launch a ruthless assault. Amid the chaos, Peter discovers the shocking betrayal of Mr. Smee, who had secretly been working with the pirates all along. Blackbeard captured Tiger Lily and her father, the tribe's chief. He then shot and killed the chief and turned his attention to Tiger Lily, who is now a chief because her father had died. But before he could kill her, Peter arrived flying on the giant birds they encountered in the forest. He then ran into a camp, only for Blackbeard to confront him. Blackbeard told Peter that he would never find his mother because he killed her. He tore the tent open and got inside, but Hook came to the rescue and managed to snatch Peter and used a balloon to float. They landed on a cornfield where Peter angrily confronted Tiger Lily about his mother being alive.
You lied. You all lied.
She told him she had to lie because he would have walked away from his destiny if he knew his mother was dead. The trio then got on a makeshift boat to go to the Mermaid Lagoon. Peter slept sad by the revelation, while Hook and Tiger Lily discussed their next step. Suddenly, they faced an attack from a crocodile, and Peter was thrown into the water. He drowned unconsciously, but mermaids carried him out of the water and landed him safely on the land. Hook went to navigate the way, and Tiger Lily dunked Peter in the water and showed him the prophecy. At this moment, Hook comes back with the discovery, and the group stumbles upon another ancient flying ship, its worn hull tucked away among the misty waters. Hook sees this as an opportunity for freedom and announces his decision to leave. His longing for escape outweighs any desire to continue fighting. However, his choice enrages Tiger Lily, who confronts him with fiery determination. She accuses him of cowardice, unwilling to stand up to Blackbeard or honor the sacrifices of those who died defending their land.
If you have no reason to stay, then go.
Peter, caught between the two, makes his own decision. Despite his doubts and fears, he chooses to stay with Tiger Lily, vowing to help her take down Blackbeard. The bond between them strengthens as they prepare for the challenges ahead, united by a shared mission and a deepening sense of responsibility. Peter and Tiger Lily reached a cave, and Peter started reading what was written on the wall. But suddenly, they were ambushed by Blackbeard and his men. Blackbeard took the necklace off Peter's neck, and now with the artifact in his possession, Blackbeard unlocks the path to Fairyland, seizing its magic and conquering its inhabitants. Peter and Tiger Lily, now prisoners of Blackbeard, contemplate their next move. Suddenly, a fairy named Tinkerbell approached Peter, and he was amazed that he could hear her. He warned her to stay away from there because it was dangerous. Blackbeard started burning the land, and Peter shouted at him to stop. Blackbeard came to Peter, sword drawn, and ordered him to kneel. But Peter, son of a warrior and a prince, told him he could kill him if he wanted. Blackbeard decides to kill him, but at that moment, salvation arrives in the form of James Hook, piloting the Jolly Roger into the fray. Hook leads an audacious assault against Blackbeard's fleet, igniting a massive battle in the skies. Cannon fire and shouts echo through the air as Hook's ship engages the pirates in a chaotic and daring fight. Tiger Lily and Blackbeard engaged in a fight while Peter and Hook attempted to fly the ship. Despite their attempt, the ship crashed. Hook fell from the ship, and Peter decided to follow, taking the risk. At that moment, Peter's long-awaited moment arrives. Pushed to his limits and driven by the need to protect those he cares about, he finally masters his powers. He managed to fly and rescued Hook. With Peter's newfound strength and the combined efforts of Hook and Tiger Lily, the battle takes a decisive turn. The tides of fate begin to shift, setting the stage for a final confrontation with Blackbeard and the promise of liberation for Neverland. As the chaotic battle reaches its climax, Blackbeard finds himself overpowered. In a final twist of fate, he falls from the edge of the ship, disappearing into the void below. For the first time, it seems that the infamous pirate's reign of terror has come to an end. Peter's mother arrived as a fairy, and she told him that she would always be with him and called him Peter Pan before disappearing. With the conflict behind him, Peter returns to his orphanage, where the grim memories of his past are replaced by hope for the future. He offers the other orphan boys a chance to join him in a life of adventure, inviting them to Neverland. Inspired by Peter's bravery and vision, several boys eagerly accepted, becoming his loyal companions. Together, they form a tight-knit group known as the Lost Boys. Back in Neverland, bonds forged as Hook decided to stay with them instead of going home. Peter and Hook, once reluctant allies, now share a deep friendship. Hook, having found a sense of purpose and freedom, begins a budding romance with Tiger Lily.
You don't want to go home?
Peter's journey teaches us the importance of courage, self-discovery, and standing up against injustice. By embracing his destiny and overcoming his fears, Peter not only liberates Neverland, but also forges bonds of friendship and trust that transform those around him. His story reminds us that resilience and determination can turn even the most impossible odds into a triumph. It shows that true leadership is born from love, sacrifice, and believing in oneself. I hope you found inspiration in Peter's tale and the lessons it offers.